Well, good morning, everybody. In August, the Ontario government awarded casino operator Great Canadian Gaming a lucrative new deal. But recently, explosive news has broken that this company's BC operation is being investigated by police over possible links to terrorist financing. They also allege that organized crime has been laundering hundreds of millions of dollars through the BC casino. This is, we're talking about hockey duffel bags full of cash. So why should we here in Ontario care? Well, let me take a moment to explain. Over a week ago, news broke that the head of the Ontario Provincial Police Branch at the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario got involved. They are, quote, reaching out to investigators in British Columbia about the money laundering investigation involving Great Canadian Gaming. Now, Finance Minister Charles Sousa has overseen the awarding of this contract, and Ontario Lottery and Gaming reports directly to the Finance Minister. So there's no hiding from this. So we ask, how much did the Liberals know about the alleged money laundering and terrorist financing in BC? Were the Liberals aware of this in August when they awarded the contract? We've given the Wynne Liberals ample time to be responsible and act first. We asked them simply do the right thing, but they have failed to do so. This is a serious issue that is not to be swept under the rug. This is not a mess that they can cover up. If they try, that's a further indictment of their record of ethical and self-interested governance. The issue, quite frankly, doesn't pass the smell test. The public is deserving of answers, and so today we are calling on Premier Kathleen Wynne to step in and halt this deal in Ontario immediately. And I'll take your questions.
Are you concerned a little bit about assuming they're guilty before it's been proven?
Well, I think our main impetus is to ensure integrity in the industry. The government continues to say they knew nothing about this, but we're asking them, halt right now while we gather the facts. I think that's the prudent thing to be doing.
Are you saying that you think that they actually knew about this prior to?
Well, one of two scenarios. Either they knew about it and didn't have that play into their decision, which means they're derelict in their duties, or they didn't know about it, which also means they're derelict in their duties for not knowing. There's such a thing as Google, and in about 2 seconds you can find out what's happened. This goes back to 2015.
Are there any measures that you would like to see gaming operations in Ontario take up to prevent this kind of thing, dealing with small bills, something like that?
Well, look, there's a storm cloud that's brewing over this whole situation. It has brought many issues to light. And what we're saying is the government should do their due diligence now and see what needs to, be developed in Ontario to look into that. But they should have done this beforehand. They've known of this. They should have known of this for some time in terms of their due diligence for the awarding of the contract. So we're asking them to halt this pending the investigation in BC, where we can see what we learn from there.
It can take many years to go ahead with the court and so on and so forth. Should we halt for years?
Well, this has nothing to do with holding it off for years. It's an immediate halt so we can at least determine where this investigation is going. You know, to talk about anything in the hypothetical is just too far down the road. Those issues as they come up would be dealt with. But at this point, the prudent thing to do, now that the facts are out and everybody is aware of the facts, the prudent thing to do is to halt this contract pending the investigation, either the results of the investigation in BC.
I understand the money laundering. What are the terror links?
According to the media sources from Vancouver, this is in the RCMP issuance that there are to other nations where hundreds of millions of dollars are transacted through the casino. What we're talking, 1 year alone, the RCMP said $220 million was laundered.
How much is worth the deal in Ontario?
Well, it's in the large hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of the time, over the course of the contract, depending on which of the many contracts they were awarded.
You've outlined a number of scenarios that could explain why Finance Minister Charles Sousa said he didn't know about this. Which one do you think is the case?
Well, I'm going to ask him in question period. We'll see what he has to say. Either way, they either knew about it and told everybody they didn't, or they didn't know about it when they should have. One or the other.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.